Hey guys, so despite all of the coronavirus and this saddening case with SJM and all of the related craziness that's going on in the world and in whatever part of the globe you may be at, the thing that does link us a lot of the times is K-pop. And even though K-pop also has its very shady elements, there is something to be said about the summer song. Which song really represents the summer of that particular year? And what I've noticed is that there are actually two songs every year that sort of get the title of the first summer song and then the mid to late summer song. There's some contenders that start around April and May, and they come out and they try to get the first title. And then there are some that come out in July or June or July. So when the summer is like really happening. And they tend to usually come in two genres or types. One is like a really bubbly, happy, kind of like sunny summer type of song. And then the other song is like really kind of like with attitude and is kind of like what you would hear like when you're in the hot, sweaty kind of like summer nightclub. And each one has its role and each one kind of vies for that kind of like vibe of the summer. And I think this year, in 2021, even though there's a lot of lockdowns, even though it's kind of like a little bit weird, I think there are two. And I think the bubbly one we just got. So Permission to Dance, BTS, obviously. I think that they got the da 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 da. Yeah, so I think that is gonna be our song. Let me know if you agree. And back in May, Aespa, with their song Next Level, I think they grabbed the title for that song that you would basically hear in the club if we weren't under lockdowns with coronavirus. And usually that song is that song that everyone will go crazy over because they've memorized the dance. And it's that dance that makes everyone feel kind of cool and fun, you know, like that you've studied, you know, on YouTube. And I have to admit, usually it's the dance that's done by a girl group but looks better, no offense, when kind of guys do it, if you know what I mean. So, and I think it was kind of cool that SM finally launched a girl group. So they launched this year. They announced it last year, and I didn't know this, but this was like the first girl group since Red Velvet, and that was like about 4 years ago. And I don't know what SM has been doing. Didn't really care, but I think they've been just like managing the company. So they're probably making more money from managing assets that they've been able to invest in and create a business around rather than probably artists. But then they're probably like, oh gosh, we got to launch an artist. And you can really tell with the video for this song. This song, I think, is great. I'm really glad they released it. And it really is a gift to all of us because it's so fun. And I think it's a perfect for all of you guys who've not seen it. We're going to see it. We're going to, you know, look at it. If you're like a cheer instructor, like in the Midwest, and you're trying to figure out what you're going to use as kind of like your practice or test or kind of like your tryout, you definitely, I think you should take a look at this song because I think it combines 2 decades worth of dance moves. And so just like in one song, you get, I think all of it. I'm not a dance person, but when I looked at it, I was just like, oh my God, I see the whole range from the year 2000 to 2021. And you see all of the cliche moves. Now, that's what bothered me about this song because it felt cliche because I've seen all of these moves before in, it's like the iconic moves of each girl group that really and maybe even some guy groups that really kind of like made it their signature move, and they were just doing it. I was just like, then where's your move? I mean, this was their move. This is new. But it looked so derivative. But where it's fun for us is that we recognize all those moves. Like even that kind of like, you know, when you kind of like lean over and you're just like this. I was just like, come on, girls, like that's so old, but they did it. And it's fun for us because I think it's immediately recognizable and relatable, and everybody will have fun doing it. But as an envelope pusher for SM, especially if you're coming out with an artist and this is what you're trying to do to make a statement, I think they need to innovate a little bit more. But what they did prove, they did show, is that they have every single trick in the book to make a video. And, you know, I've just been experimenting, you know, with some of this green screen stuff and video editing. So I know like at least a little bit of what goes into it. And when I looked at it, I was like, wow, there is nothing they did not give these girls in terms of lighting, video, number of cameras, angles, costume changes, like computer graphics. It was almost like watching like a kid get every single thing possible to grow up to be, you know, the best they could ever be. So in that way, I think it's kind of unfortunate because, you know, they're kind of lost, and I don't think that they're able to kind of push against any kind of resistance to then get kind of like their own special tone. Because this song, actually, the reason why I think it's also relatable and actually could be very applicable or maybe appealing to people in the United States is actually, it's an American song. It was licensed. If you think it's very familiar, it was, I think, on the soundtrack to last year's Fast and the Furious movie. So SM just, they're like, I mean, they really called this in. They're like, oh God, let's not even write the song. Let's just get something, find what's out there. And they didn't even find what's out there that wasn't released. They already got something that was released. Maybe it was on sale or something. And then they're like, you like this? Okay, yeah. All right, let's translate it into Korean, you know, put your own little thing on it, and then boom. I mean, it's catchy. It's great. The music video is nice. And the dance is good for us. You know, the dance is great for all of us to enjoy, but it's not good for the group, I would think, long term. So they really need to get their act together, and like, you know, they need to get to the next level. I mean, we could get to the next level like this for fun, but they need to get it to the next level, honey, if you really want to stay here. But I do want to mention that I think BTS maybe was trying to have its cake and eat it too, literally, you know, like with the pancakes and the butter, because they released Butter in May. So I think they were trying to get both songs of the summer, because Butter was a little bit sort of like that nighttime song, even though it was like kind of like more bubble poppy, you know, in that BTS style. I think they were trying to do both. See, so like they released something in May and then July. So I think they were probably like, hey, you know, if everyone else is just going to be lazy during coronavirus, let's just try to get both. Because I was just like, why did they release two songs so close together? That's like way too close. And then I'm like, oh, maybe they think nobody else, you know, has their act together because this is just a weird time. All right, so you're not convinced? Let's just go over some other fun memory lane. So when I was really interested in, you know, what this like summer vibe was just in 2019, right before all of this coronavirus hit, our last summer. And that was Chungha Snapping. She released that in June 24th, 2019. And she's like this small, skinny, frail girl. And so she really emphasized her hourglass figure, and she does the wavy thing to try to, I think, get more volume. So she looks sort of like a wind chime. And so this is how she really emphasizes her body movement. And my theory with the artists is that they kind of start with the actual deficiency in sort of their body and how it moves, they turn that into actually a plus and a weapon. And that starts to affect their rhythm, which then affects their sound. And then that gives them their signature. So the way that she's kind of like has to go like this to get some volume on stage gives her that da 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 da, and she's always like, you know, this kind of thing. And it's like, this is the rhythm, and like it's really cool and catchy, and it works for her, and then that makes her memorable. Rather than, you know, right now with Aespa, they have to rely on all of these, like, you know, lighting effects and fast changes, and then they have to turn into, like, you know, animate robots and stuff. Girls, you really should try, you know, snap here and there, twist your butt, something. I don't know, just experiment right now. Chungha with the snapping, that was like the club hit, you know, because like, oh my God, all of the boys, even in her actual performance and the backstage dancers and in the music video, she had the boys do all of the, you know, like, and it looked kind of cool. That's the thing, like these dances, like the club version, like it has to be, in my opinion, a female artist, but like the guy also has to be able to do it, and it also has to look cool when like a guy does it. And that makes it, I think, like the nightclub hit. And then the fun song, I think in the past 3 years, it was just all BTS. So BTS Boy With Love, that came out in April, and I think that was the hit of the summer 2019. Before everything went to craziness with coronavirus. All right, so let's move on to 2020. Now, 2020, I think, was a very strange year where I think we did have a lot of delays. So that was when we were in the thick of it. And so I think people were really off with their production schedules, but we still did have people really try to get their summer hits out. And this whole year, we really had this really beautiful trio of Jessi, Hwasa, and Ihyori become this really triple threat on TV, just entertaining us, and then also create this sort of like fake music group that actually did perform. And then they released their own solo stuff, and they really did well. And so I would say, in terms of the club song, it was a tie between Hwasa with Maria, and she released it on June 29th, 2020, and Jessi with Nununana, and she released it, I think, in July. Both of them are very hip oriented, but in different ways. So let me explain. So Hwasa with Maria, I love her. I love her so much because she's basically kind of like the strong girl who's just really badass, who has been through it all and is a survivor, and just like you feel like, wow, if she can do it, I can do it. And the thing with her is that she has a big presence, but she's actually kind of small. And I think her thing, this is my guess, is that she doesn't want you to linger too much in terms of your gaze on her hips and her legs, because maybe she's a little bit conscious about how maybe it's shorter, and so she does a lot of fast movements to try to keep the movement away, so that makes her move and gives her like this Spanish flamenco type of vibe that has affected kind of like the rhythm and then the way she sings, and even that whole Maria, like, you know, that sound has become her thing. Also, she does dances that are literally planted on the ground, so you'll see a lot of her choreography even be squats or literally be on the floor, and that also affects kind of like her signature style, and then that also creates a storytelling element. And so from her probably insecurities, she has turned it into a strength and a style that really like nobody else would probably think about, and then that she has made her own. And it's so cool. She I would say is my favorite female artist. Yeah. Okay. Now Jessi, she also has her rhythm, her style also, I think, from the rhythm of her lower body. So you can see like when she dances, she also emphasizes her lower body, but I think the difference with her and Hwasa is that she wants you to linger your gaze at her lower body, and so she kind of moves a little bit slower so that you don't look away. And she kind of makes you want to stay around there. So she'll kind of like even kind of keep the arms up to kind of give you even more room to kind of look down, and then even give you a little torque here and there if you kind of missed it. So that's a different way. And then that has a way of going into her vocals and her rhythm, and that gives her that kind of like J-Lo street vibe kind of thing that also makes her very, very unique. So those two songs, I think, really encapsulated summer 2020, especially when we weren't able to go anywhere. It almost felt like we did. Through these three girls and their adventures on TV, I felt like we did go somewhere. 2020 just kind of passed like a blur, but at least with those three just kind of like cavorting around, and then with their cool songs, that was fun. And then let's not forget, this was very late. I was super shocked at how late this was, but I kind of think it was because of coronavirus. Maybe production schedules were delayed. Dynamite, BTS, that actually came out August 21st. I thought that was really late, but I still count it. I still count it as the bubbly summer hit. And so it just kind of, it just swept everybody up. So I don't really have to explain BTS because I think the stans are much more versed in why BTS is who they are. But essentially from what I heard, at least from a vocal standpoint, is that they're all varied. So V, I heard, is like he has the lower vocal range. Jimin is at the higher range. Jungkook is in the middle, and RM does the rap, and we have the others in between. And so vocally you get the whole range, and then personality wise, style wise, they all have their own unique characteristics that blend together, and these guys have their heads on straight. If just in a quick description of why I think they're different from the other K-pop groups, why them? Why this idol group than others? They have their heads on straight. They work better together than others. Are they more talented? More hands? Like, are they more of something than the other people? Like, is my child, more like talented? Like, is your child more talented? Is that why they succeeded? Like, I don't think that that's even the case. But is your child more focused? Is your child more diligent? Does your child have their ego in check? Does your child know what their goal is? And when their child has to sacrifice certain things to just get the job done, and then know how to work well with with other people, especially when you don't expect them to be so mature for their age, will they do it? I think that's what sets BTS apart, because as crazy as it sounds, I think they're actually goofy and they act like kids, but up there, they're very mature. And then also, I think because they are so diligent, they have to play with each other, and then they share all of that on social media. So it feels like you are playing with them. So the inclusion is what's different. They matched that era. If you compare it, and I always compare it, and I don't want to, I don't want to hate on B, but I think he still doesn't get it because he was like a superstar number one. Then he went to the army, didn't know how the world changed. But basically, when he was number one, it was basically, here's the stage, look at me, I give out to you, you consume, applaud, 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 applaud. But after he came back from the army, the world changed, and the army out there, basically they want to be involved. So you play, they play. Like, we're all like playing in the same playground together. And I don't think the old artists understand that, because it was kind of like, then they're here. But actually, BTS brings everybody in. So the artist that can bring people in win. And actually, in order to play online with this, that basically means you can't play outside. Like, you as BTS, as an artist, you don't get to go out and have drinks. You don't even get to go out and have your own life. You're just playing with each other, after the show ends, in your hotel room with the other members, turn on all the cameras, and then you're playing with your fans. That's why I think they're different. They win. Why don't we look at the 2 songs of the summer 2021? Let's look at it together. Let's do the club one first.
I'm on the next level, yeah. 절대적 룰을 지켜 내 손을 놓지 마라. 결속은 나의 무기. 광야로 걸어가 알아 내 home ground. 위협에 맞서서 check it out. 상상도 못한 blackout. 유혹은 깊고 진해. Too hot. 맞잡은 손을 놓쳐 난 절대 포기 못해. I'm on the next level. 저 너머의 문을 열어. Next level. 널 결국엔 내가 부셔. Next level. 코스모에 탈 때까지 next level. Check it out. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. I see the new info. 적대적인 고난과 슬픔. 널 덮아 진화시켜. That's my novice, it's my novice. You lead, we follow. 감정들을 배운다. Watch me while I make it out. Watch me while I work it out. Watch me while I make it out. Watch me while I work it out. Work it out. 감당할 수 없는 절망도 내 믿음을 깨지 못해. 더 아픈 시련들마저도 난 잡은 손 놓지 않을게. Beat drop. Novice calling. 절대로 뒤를 돌아보지 마라. 광야의 곁을 내지 마라. 약속이 깨지면 모두 걷혀볼 수 없게 돼. 언제부턴가 불어내지 않은 신호. 널 파괴하고 말 거야. We want it. Come on, show me the way. 더 some more. Yeah. We're like 맘방가 만들어낸 광각 quest. Aespa 아이로 분리시켜 목표 원해. 그래 중심을 잃고 목소리도 잃고 비난받고 사람들과 멀어지는 착각 속에 난 미술이 아이들을 불러봐. Aespa의 next level 포스를 열어봐. 이건 real world 깨어났어. We against the feeling, what's the name? 그래 맘봐. 결국 난 문을 열어. 그 빛은 네가 fire. Too hot. 난 궁금해 미치겠어. 이 다음에 펼칠 story. I'm on the next level. 저 너머의 문을 열어. Next level. 널 결국엔 내가 부셔. Next level. 코스모에 달 때까지 next your next level. Check it out, check it out, check it out.
Okay, so what do you think? That was sort of like a real big like club workout. You could totally see yourself just go boom, 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 boom. Everybody's on the stage. It's gonna be like a contest, like who did the best, like next level. But girls, if you really want to get to the next level, you're gonna have to do a little bit better than that. Honestly, let us enjoy this song and try to get to this level because it's really hard, but you guys have to go to the next level and show us how to get there. All right, are you guys ready for BTS? Let's look at that one. Pancakes.
It's the thought of PM when your heart's just like a drum, beating louder with nowhere to guard it. When it all seems like it's wrong, just sing along to Elton John and to that feeling we're just getting started.
When the nights get colder and the rhythm's got you falling behind, just dream about that moment when you look yourself right in the eye. Then you say, I wanna dance, the music's got me going, and nothing that can stop how we move. Yeah, let's make our plans and live just like we're golden and rolling like we're dancing fools. We don't need to worry, 'cause when we go we know how to land.
Don't need to talk the talk, just walk the walk tonight. You know just how to put just with the right vibe, yeah. 'Cause there's no looking back, there ain't no one to prove we don't got this on lock, yeah. The wait is over, the time is not, so let's do it right. Yeah, we'll keep going and stay up until we see the sun.
That we can keep the fire alive.
'Cause it's not over till the summer. Say one more time. Say,
I wanna dance, the music's got me going. Nothing that can stop how we move. Yeah, let's break our plans and live just like we're golden and rolling like we're dancing fools.
So that's the song of the summer on upbeat note. Aespa, I think, takes it when you want to go jam at the club if in your neck of the woods you don't have any kind of lockdown. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoy my analysis on what songs are the summer K-pop songs of 2021. Put in your songs with some links to maybe some YouTube clips so that we can kind of get a whole song list of what we should jam to try to, kind of chill and have a good time this summer. All right, guys, see you next time. Bye.
Tune in next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Find us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Love you.